It seems
3,
like
2, 1.
you've done this before.
Time or two, maybe. We had a little TV studio. The other school I was at did a weekly
Really?
show. Yeah.
Cool. You can come talk
No
to us
takes.
anytime you
I
want.
was always one take. That's
One
it.
take?
Did you call plays the whole time you were head coach at Central Missouri, or how did that?
It was a collective effort. We would, formulate the game plan, and then usually had a coordinator call most of it, but was, the creative designer behind the thing, and that was we felt like that was the best approach to utilize our personnel.
So how much are you looking forward to getting back to be?
Well, we're going to have a similar process here. We got a lot of talented coaches in the offensive room, and we'll split up some of the calling in terms of down and distance and that type of thing, which is, that way you can look ahead in certain situations and be on time with what you're calling. So a lot of it's done ahead of time, frankly, in your game planning and even your situations, even though you can't predict every single scenario. For the most part, you have your first and second down calls, and you have your third down calls, and your low red zone, and you have all those plays kind of designed ahead of time. And then if you have to make adjustments during the game, you go from there.
So who's calling the fourth down play?
That would be the head coach, or whether we go for it or not. But we'll have some ready. Coach,
the past few seasons, Tulane's been really a run-heavy team. That's been this team's identity. But at Central Missouri, your team's a little bit more pass-happy. So how do you synthesize those, or are you planning to change the offense in any sort of way?
No, we feel like we have. To me, it's always based on personnel and the ability to score points and not turn the ball over a lot. And so, some of the teams that you referenced were teams that we felt like that was our strength, and we needed to do that to move the ball down the field, move the sticks. Maybe weren't as physical up front. Maybe our running back room was different. Here, I feel like this is one of the best. I think most people that have been around here for a while feel like this is one of the best lines they've had for a while, and we certainly have an outstanding running back room. So I think if you can line up and say to the other team, we're going to run the ball here, and there's nothing you can do about it, you do that every play, right? But in reality, they got scholarship guys too, and you have to have the ability to keep the other side off balance in as much as possible. And so if you have really good balance in terms of the run and pass, I think you're going to be the most effective. Now, if you don't feel like the running part is going to be as effective, then you still have to have some balance between the types of passes that you throw in terms of shorter passes, intermediate passes, screens, those kinds of things. So I think in the end, it just comes down to having the ability to mix up what you do, be unpredictable, and have some balance in what you present to the defense.
Through nearly 4 weeks of camp, how comfortable do you feel like your guys are with this offense that you've been implementing so far?
Well, I think they took to it really fast. I think that the way we call plays and the way our system is makes it understandable for the players and allows us to do multiple formations and do a variety of things in terms of shifts and motions and so forth. So, but we threw a lot at them, and part of camp is, and part of spring ball is to kind of find out what they can do. And I've always felt like you got to push that limit as much as you can. Philosophically, I think if it's easy to do, it's probably easy to defend. But there's always that balance between what your players can execute, and in the end, that's the telltale, right? If they're not executing what you do, then either they don't understand or you have too much volume there that that they can't grasp.
And Coach Brown's defenses tend to be blitz happy. How do you kind of adjust to that?
Well, part of that is teaching your players poise, right, and giving them options in terms of dealing with that. I think that probably innately with a defense like that is to make the quarterback uncomfortable, and so you have to have the ability to have your quarterback feel comfortable in those situations, and so you practice it and try to keep them on edge in your practice, create a sense of urgency and those types of things. But it's a challenge, and that's probably a big part of it, is just have everybody be poised and confident that while blitzing is effective and that's why they do it, there's also some liabilities on that on the other side in terms of giving up big plays, and of course we know that's a big part of the game.
As far as being totally on the same page in your first game, how much does it help that you and Coach McManaman have a
McMenamin?
have worked together?
Oh, outstanding. And, I think the synergy with the offensive staff has been really good. Try to maximize everybody's strengths in the room, give them some autonomy in terms of how they coach, but also, give them some ownership in what we're doing. And I think that, if I had all the answers, I wouldn't need anybody, right? So we've had a lot of guys that have had a lot of success in various offenses and that are really intelligent, and so we want to play to their strengths and collectively get them involved.
You mentioned it's a group effort calling the plays. Are you the guy ultimately, though, that's going to be making that decision, or is somebody? How's that?
Well, we'll let that play itself out, but I'm the offensive coordinator, and it starts with me.
As far as like a long-term plan to keep Pratt healthy this year, can you talk about all the layers?
We've worked on sliding
a
a little bit. No, the challenge is that during practice they never get hit, and so you can develop a little bit of a false sense of security in terms of having those red jerseys on and knowing exactly, because players are instructed not to hit the quarterback, and so they can develop a little bit of a sense of a false security in terms of that. But what we try to do in practice is create that sense of urgency as far as when we do our 7-on-7, we have a horn, so they're not back there just patting the ball and waiting for a guy to get open. I mean, we want everything on time and to be delivered as timely as possible with our progressions and so forth. So I think that, again, we're just not dropping back and throwing down the field every play, and that's part of it. And when you are doing that, you got to make sure that he's protected, maybe chip some defensive ends and that type of thing, and make sure that he has time to operate, and mainly stay out of those long 3rd and long situations is the most beneficial, because defensively they can just tee off. They get in their track stances. They're not worried about the run. They just get upfield, and that makes it really tough on your offensive lineman.
So down in distance is gigantic.
Down in distance is huge. Managing the sticks.